what it is about LEGO Harry Potter's 2023 wave, but for some reason they really seem to be enjoying cannibalizing their own sets, as now Diagon Alley is also getting a soft reboot. This is set 76422, Diagon Alley Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. It contains 834 pieces and retails for $90 US, 170 Australian and 85 Great British pounds. If you're like me though and you bought the massive version, then this set really does serve no purpose for you besides maybe a couple of minifigures and some mock building potential. But for everyone else, it's a much more affordable way to get one of the coolest buildings out of Harry Potter and also have one that doesn't take up a ton of space. In the set, you get 2 buildings and 7 minifigures, and thankfully none of them are Harry Potter. Kicking things off, we have Fred and George Weasley, who are exactly the same as their versions in Diagon Alley. For me, this is a little bit of a pain since it kills their exclusivity, but it's exactly what this set needed. They have alternating colors on their torsos and their usual very joyful face prints, which I think match the set perfectly. Next up, we have Ron, who gets a new casual outfit torso print. I have no doubt though that that will be reused in the future, but for now at least it is exclusive to this set, and his hair and face are nothing new. Our fourth and final Weasley is Ginny, who also has a brand new torso print, but unfortunately still comes with that Jurassic Park face. Personally, I don't really think it suits her and looks a little bit too animated in comparison to some of the other characters, and I really hope that one day she gets an upgrade. Next up though is Lavender Brown, who to me looks a little bit too similar to Hermione. She continues to use Rey's face from Star Wars and also has a new torso print. Romualda Vane also makes an appearance in this set, though I couldn't recognize her at first, which I put down mostly to the hairpiece choice here. I really think that the curly hairpiece would have matched so much better, but other than that, her face print and torso look really great, and I'm glad to see her finally show up in a set. Lastly is a standard Outpost worker, who is really more of a bonus, just I feel like to bring the set's value up. I'm glad she's here though, so that each building can have a staff member working, and again, the torso and head look great. Overall, the minifigure selection feels like such a major breath of fresh air, and I really hope that the variety and lack of Harry Potter minifigures continue. Minifigures aside though, let's talk about the build, and firstly, it is small. Really small. This is the third Harry Potter review I've filmed in a row at this point, so I feel like I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but this set really does not live up to that price point at all. Now that could be down to exchange rate since I do live in Australia. However, when I compare this to other sets from different themes at this same price point, or even sets from previous Harry Potter waves, I really do not feel like this lines up properly with them. Because like I said, the size of it is really letting it down. Now that could be due to the substantial side build, but honestly, I do actually really like this. Outpost in this set serves as its own little corner building, and to me feels like a very dead giveaway that they're going to continue making Diagon Alley sets, given that it's got the Technic pins at the bottom, but also it kind of completes Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, as you can stick it up next to the side of it, or you can just have it standing on its own a little bit further away. The main downside to this though is that there is absolutely no interior. There's a couple of little details in there with a couple of letters as well as a sticker on a panel, but besides that there is really not a lot going on in here. There's a mailbox with no lid to it, and there's about maybe 7 studs where you could stand a minifigure. It really does not feel like there is a lot going on here. One thing that's kind of cute though is that there's an open window at the top, so you could drop a letter through the roof and it can kind of fall down and just land at the bottom, but I mean, I don't know how the employee is really supposed to do anything in this building because there is nothing happening. The exterior though does look really nice. There's a couple of stickered panels which match up with the stickers from the Hogwarts Express set. There's also the Return of the Golden Owl flapping to kind of make up the archway, as well as some stickered panels on the roof and a little owl perched at the very top. The exterior really carries this, and out of all of the side builds that I've seen from LEGO sets, this is definitely a top contender. The main attraction though is Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, and this is exactly the build that I really wanted to have as a set as a kid. The issue with this set though is that we have seen bigger and better, and the price point of difference really isn't that big, so it just feels like there was a ton of compromise here in order to make it seem like a playset, and I feel like it could have been done just a little bit better with not that many extra pieces. On its own though, this set is good. I don't think it's anything particularly amazing in any sort of way. However, it does contain everything that you'd probably want out of Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. It just feels very hollow and lifeless to some extent. But before we delve into that, let's talk about some of the things I like. Firstly are the curved orange windows. I think these look fantastic and really capture perfectly the kind of character and style of the building. The the orange and purple color scheme translates really well into Lego form, and I really like the details that are hanging off the sides of the building, as well as the store sign, which to me maybe potentially looks like an Easter egg. You've also still got the kind of giant model of Fred and George in the window. However, he is very skinny and lanky and just feels a little bit twig-like for me. I also kind of think his head's a little bit cursed, but I love the fact that they kept that little bunny detail on the top, because that was something that I feel like was missing from the Diagon Alley version of this set. The build for the top hat is really cute, and overall the exterior is really where I think this set shines, as when you turn it around and look at the inside, there are a lot of references to the snacks and jokes that the Weasley twins sell, but equally there feels like there's a lot of nothing. To me, it really feels like it was left up to a bunch of stickered 1x2s in order to create a ton of detail in this set, and I really love all of those pieces, and I think they would be perfect inclusions for a Weasley's Wizard Wheezes mark, and overall just add a lot of really nice detail that you probably wouldn't get otherwise. But for the interior to solely being relying on them, it does make it feel very hollow when you kind of look past that. Because of the size of the set, there really wasn't a lot of room to do some extravagant store displays, but the few displays that there are though I think are really well done. There's the love potion, the Weasley sticky trainers, the puking pastels, as well as the toy Umbridge at the top. I feel like she is really well done, even though she's not quite to scale. The one that let me down the most though is the Peruvian instant darkness powder. I wish that the rock that they chose was black rather than that kind of like light nougat. I just don't think that that matches the movie at all, and there's just overall signage feels very, very bland. Going back to the puking pastels display though, it does feel very out of scale in comparison to the rest of the build. On its own, I think it's fantastic. I love the stickered prints, and it's overall a very, very smart little kind of micro build, but since it can't really go in the window where it's supposed to and just kind of sits on the side, it does leave it feeling a little bit out of place. Even though it feels like something's missing and is incredibly small, at the end of the day, it still represents the shop you know and love, and I think this is going to be amazing for kids, or maybe people who are running out of space, or even running out of Lego funds. I think this is a really, really good option. I guess the best way for me to put it is that I like this set, but I don't love it. Critiques aside though, the highlight of this set for me definitely has to be how alive the store feels with all of the minifigures on the inside. It really brings it to life and adds a lot of character, as well as kind of the commotion that I feel like Weasley's Wizard Wheezes has. But one thing this set did achieve is basically just making me feel excited for what is to come and what the Lego designers might have up their sleeves. The modular connections, the title of the set, and even just the little references within the build really makes it seem like Diagon Alley kind of having a set per year is going to be a thing going forward, and that concept is really exciting to me. We've only really ever gotten Diagon Alley as some of the largest Lego Harry Potter sets to release, whether that be the original back in 2011 and of course the remake in 2020, so it's really nice and refreshing to have something that's a little bit smaller and more accessible that you can accumulate over time. Despite all of the sacrifices that had to be made as well, at the end of the day they still accurately represent what they're supposed to from the movie, which is really the main thing I look for with Harry Potter sets. For the price though, this build definitely should have been fleshed out a little bit more. Just to see these kind of two buildings side by side and thinking about how much I spend for it, I am really not that impressed. If you haven't got Diagon Alley, this is absolutely a great pickup and a really great way to get Weasley's Wizard Wheezes if that is something that you want. However, if you are saving up for the set, I would probably hold off and wait and see what they do with Gringotts and see what they potentially do with the 2024 wave, because I still love that Diagon Alley set. I think it is absolutely worth the money, but if they are gonna go and kind of switch up directions, then maybe this is something you would rather invest your money into long term. But let me know what you think about this set in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel down below, and until next time guys, I'll see you later.